our late start. There was some issue with our technology that we thought we were online, but somehow we were not online. Uh, and basically had to reboot our system to make sure everything is working. And now we are working. So we started 10 minutes late. So apologize for that, listeners. So as I said, this is the spiritual discussion program. The aim of the show is to introduce you to the spiritual knowledge in the light of truth, the Grail message by Abdrushin. And we have a new topic each week for discussion. The topic tonight is humanity and their issues and understanding of God. Humanity and their issues and understanding of God. Sounds quite a mouthful, but we will go into this topic tonight. If you want to uh, ask any questions or have any comments, you can contact us on our UK number, which is 079 39 641 958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And if you're outside of UK, it is 00447939641958. Again, you can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And just to introduce myself, I'm Saad. I'm in southeast London, and the weather has become chilly. I think started a few days ago. It's been sunny and a few clouds in the sky here. And I want to ask Gregory the same. Gregory, how are things where you are?
Very chilly.
Very chilly. Okay. And how's been the week?
Very busy. It only started yesterday.
Yes, but since last week, we should compare it to, because we have the show every Tuesday. So since the week ago, anything happening special?
Not really.
Okay. From my side, I'm back at work. So that's only the news I can say. Um, yeah, and it's just been chilly. That's the main point that I've been feeling outside. So yes, welcome listeners to this show. The aim of the show is to introduce you to the spiritual knowledge in the light of truth, the Grail message. And as I mentioned, the topic we're discussing tonight is humanity and their issues and understanding of God. I want to begin with what is the Grail message? The Grail message in the light of truth by Abdrushin is a spiritual knowledge of life. It offers an explanation of the world, a picture of creation on the basis of natural laws. Its lectures contain valuable basic elements as a help in life, for through the knowledge mediated, the reader is again brought closer to life and led back to God. The Grail message deals with important fundamental questions of life by explaining in a clear and logical way the automatic working of the laws of nature, the whole weaving of creation, allowing every process to be recognized and thereby the purpose of our whole life. It is directed at the individual and speaks to the innate experiences of the human being, their strengths and weaknesses. Thus, every reader has the opportunity to discover through the intuitive perception if what is stated is the truth. Combining with matter-of-fact reasoning, a complete world picture arises, where there is no separation between the visible world and the great world beyond the five senses, nor any separation between scientific and religious striving for knowledge. I'd like to give you a couple of quotes from the author of the Grail Message, Abdrushin. The hearer and reader of my lectures should always work within himself, keenly probing and building bridges from one lecture to the other, as well as out into the great and small world happenings. Only then will he be able to understand the Grail message and find that it gradually shapes itself into one complete whole without leaving any gaps. Again and again, in all the happenings, the reader will come back to the basic features. He can explain everything without having to change even one single sentence. The word of the Grail message lives, so that it permits only those people who really carry the honest desire in their souls to find abundantly. All else is automatically rejected by it. For the arrogant and those who seek superficially, the message will remain the book with 7 seals. And I'd like to give you one more quote from the author. I wish to fill the gaps which have so far always remained unanswered in the souls of men, and which never leave any serious thinker in peace if he earnestly seeks for the truth. Dear listeners, I'm sure you're aware from the news that things are happening, or let's say one big story that is happening in the world, and I'm sure there are other things happening too, but one of them is just being highlighted a lot, which is this Hamas or Gaza war versus Israel. And let's say a lot of the international world is involved in it. And from the human point of view, you can see a lot of suffering. So people would have questions, why is it happening? And what can be done about it? So this type of questions you can be very, how can I say, addressed in our topic tonight, which is humanity and their issues and the understanding of God. So I'll just repeat that. It's a long title for tonight. Humanity and their issues and the understanding of God. And if you have any questions or comments, you can contact us on our UK number, which is 079 39 641 958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And if you're outside of UK, it is 0044 79 39 641 958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. So, Gregory, I will, as usual, I like to look at the words in the topic, and then in the dictionary, and see what meaning they give us and how appropriate it is for our discussion, and if not, what definition we should be using. So I think the first word shouldn't be an issue because the word is humanity, and the dictionary says human beings collectively. Let me ask you, is that how good is that definition, Gregory?
Well, thanks. The dictionary will always provide what it is able to perceive with the senses and collectively a name associated. Humanity basically should be human personalities that have or that are of spirit. That means deep within the individual there is that which is of spirit.
Okay. So yes, so humanity must have spirit within. So fine. And actually, Gregory, I know I want to say there's a second meaning given in the dictionary for humanity, and you could say, let me just say what that meaning is, and then we can talk about it. The quality of being humane or benevolence. So that's a quality of being human, humane. That's the meaning of humanity. So can you say something on that one, the meaning of that one?
Not really, because that which is of spirit, these are part description of it.
Right. So it's a quality of the spirit. being the word they give benevolence is an equivalent of humane, benevolence. So something that's a nature. Would you say that is a quality of the spirit? Spirit?
These are descriptions to give precisely the quality of the Spirit. Then that leads us to those skills, those talents which have been sown in it. Those, strictly speaking, will be the qualities of the Spirit, which many, describe as the virtues, which has to be cultivated anyway.
Okay, yes. So we will be exploring that further in our discussion as we go on. So I want to now move on to the next, you can call it the key word. So just to remind everybody, the topic tonight is humanity and their issues and understanding of God. So the second key word is issues. And in the dictionary, it says an important topic or problem for debate or discussion. So what do you say for that definition there, Gregory? Is that
that is helpful?
It's helpful.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And we are just having this as a topic, and we are discussing it, so it's sort of correct. Yeah. And then the second meaning it says, for meaning of issues, the action of supplying or distributing an item for use, sale, or official purposes. And the example they give, the issue of notes by the Bank of England. I'm not sure how relevant that is, Gregory.
That is not relevant to our discussion.
Right. Yes, it immediately it doesn't fit. So thank you. The next key word I have is understanding. And that is meaning given in the dictionary, the ability to understand. Oh, I thought it would be something else. Or the ability to understand something, or i.e. they say comprehension. So that's any comment on that one, Gregory?
The expression comprehension holds the key meaning there.
Right. And the second meaning they say understanding, the meaning of understanding, sympathetic awareness or tolerance. So is that also appropriate for us?
Well, these are descriptions of comprehension.
Okay. So we will continue. And then finally, I have the word God, and there, this is like I will say one angle only, but anyway, I will say it. In Christianity and other monotheistic religions, so the meaning of the word God, it says the creator and the ruler of the universe and source of all moral authority, the supreme being. I'm going to stop on that one, Gregory. So is that, again, let's say the right definition for us?
For some who are used to such, it may be helpful, but it doesn't go near enough and can never go near enough of the source of all power.
Right. And the second meaning, I will just say it as well. It says in certain other religions, so the non-monotheistic religion, it says a superhuman being or spirit worshipped as having power over nature or human fortunes, a deity. So is that, how good is that definition?
That is counterproductive. For the source of all power cannot be of spirits or a deity the way they themselves understand it. So that should be completely ruled out.
Right. Okay, so all these points and words we will be exploring further in our discussion. Now, You know, when, again, to repeat the topic, it says humanity and their issues and understanding of God. So the first thing that came to me when I looked at that point, this topic, it is the suffering. And the question that came to me, why is there suffering? So, Greg, can you respond to that?
Even before that is considered why there is suffering, the first thing that individual must ask themselves, what is their purpose? And what are their desires? Maybe from there, many will understand how suffering has come into this world. For in the first instance, many who ask these questions don't even have faith or conviction of the existence of the source of power, which source of power animates all. They themselves just follow arbitrarily whatever comes across their path. So one can already see the ignorance, how through their activities they may weave that which is not of benefit to them in accordance with the laws through which they themselves came into existence. That lack of knowledge, that lack of experience, that lack of knowing that there is an order, even in nature, even in creation, when they experience this daily, hourly, every second, that ignorance, that one may even say is the beginning of suffering.
Thank you for this answer, Gregory. So, if I understood you correctly, the beginning of the suffering is because of the lack of human beings knowing their purpose and you could say their and abilities, right? Proper understanding of that, and then you can sort of appreciate that, oh, since you don't know that, then of course you're likely to, go in a different direction, and then not a surprise when you suffer when you don't know what you're doing. It's not a surprise. So ignorance, in a way, Gregory, is fundamentally, you could say, the first problem or issue that human beings are suffering, almost. Would I be right there?
Yes, that's one of the factors.
Right. So that's obviously we need to address that. So
But
before I
ignorance does not absolve one from responsibilities.
sorry, just repeat that again. Just say that again.
Ignorance does not absolve one from responsibilities.
Right. Yes, we know that even on the earthly things, if you are driving and you don't know the traffic rules, and then the police or they catch you, they're not going to let you off for saying, "Oh, I didn't know that was the rule here." So so ignorance just definitely will not help you there. So of course now we're talking about life, the laws of the purpose of life, and what are the laws? What are the purpose? What is the purpose of life? And if you don't know that, then there will be some consequences of it. Now, I just want to, before we continue further, I just want to remind the listeners, this is Bless Radio, and this is the Tuesday evening spiritual discussion program from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. UK time. The aim of the show is to introduce you to the spiritual knowledge In the Light of Truth, the Grail Message by Abrushin. And if you wish to know more about the Grail Message or want to get a copy of the Grail Message for yourself, you can go to this website, which is www.grailmessage.com. I'll spell that, www.grail, G-R-A-I-L, message, MESSAGE.com. And the topic we are discussing tonight is humanity and their issues and the understanding of God. You're welcome to join us with any questions or comments by contacting us on our UK number, which is 079 39 641 958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And if you're outside of UK, it is 0044 79 39 641 958. Again, you can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And we are broadcasting on Bless Radio 1, that's the number 1.com. You can also listen to us on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and type in the search box, Bless Radio 1, the number 1 again, space, live stream. That's for the live show, which is on Tuesdays, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. UK time. And then you can listen to a recording of this show, which is the next day, also on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and type in the search box, Bless Radio 1, again the number 1, space, Grail, message, space, the topic of the show, which tonight is humanity and their issues and the understanding of God. And of course, you can listen to our previous shows also on YouTube. Thirdly, we're broadcasting on Zeno, that's ZENO.FM/Bless Radio 1. That's the number 1 again. Now, Gregory, you've pointed to that, really to understand you could say, the issues that human beings are facing. The first thing really to have, you need to have a clarity or understanding of our purpose, and then therefore the responsibilities that we carry. And so, because ignorance doesn't take away the responsibility. What we do, ignorance cannot remove that. So let's look at that now. We are human beings. So, and we're living here on this earth. So when you think of the word purpose there, you think, okay, we seem to be the highest beings on this earth. And so we need to look after this earth and live in harmony with the other beings and the environment on this earth. So is that the purpose that you're referring to?
That is part of the purpose.
Right. Can you expand a bit more?
To understand the real purpose, the individual must ask themselves, what am I? Is the personality that one is able to perceive using the 5 senses, is that all about the personality? Has that personality got thoughts? That means it's able to think. Has that personality got intuitions? Therefore, when one starts reflecting along such lines, then one may come nearer to the real purpose, because only through questioning about who am I, what have I come to do here, only through such questions will you find impressions striking us, pointing to directions in our thoughts, in our intuitions. Therefore, in that case, we are able to reflect deeper than the shallowness which you find nowadays. First, the human personality must strive to comprehend that he or she is not only of the gross material, or is not only that which holds flesh and blood. The body is more like a container, biological container, which is necessary for the personality to experience whilst it is here on earth. That being the case, then there should be a further question that the personality is able to think. Did these things, this thinking, did they come in an arbitrary manner? The personality had to grow from childhood. It means that personality is not a robot. The robot doesn't need to grow. So these are the questions which each person should start asking themselves. The most challenging question is, do I have impressions, which one may refer to as intuitive impressions, which do not have their origin in the intellect? That means they do not have their origin in the frontal brain. As long as one keeps asking these questions, it's as if one is very mobile. One is in motion, not only in one's thoughts, but that which stamps the personality as a human being. Then, before long, he or she will receive the clearness that he or she has intuitions, which intuition is able to influence his thoughts. Then subsequently, we start examining the origin of the intuition. That is the simplest path to follow before one starts asking, what is my purpose here on earth?
Thank you very much, Gregory, for this answer and picture that you're giving. For many, maybe this is new to discover this, or maybe they had an inkling already that, oh yes, yes, I have questions, and I can receive these answers from within, you can say, rather than just rely on some, let's say, people's opinions or other writings. Because what you have said is that it appears we have our own gift, we have been given a gift, or we have a gift where we can answer our own questions, which seems incredible, really. That we who are not really, let's say we are the people who discover things in life rather than know it already, and yet we have a tool which you've called the intuition. If we apply that, then we're able to, think and even receive answers. So this could be, this is really quite amazing. So again, we will go into that a bit more. Now, I want to see, as we know, as we all know, Gregory, we don't live by ourselves on this earth. It's not one human being here. There's a collection of us. And of course, each person thinks differently. And, some of us, we work together to harmonize and live in a society and community, you can say. Others, we have different views and maybe they don't want to, fit in, you can say. So we have these, I'm going to call them issues and situations. And then people think, okay, how do we deal with that? That everybody, we believe that in society that you should have freedom, there should be justice, peace, and how we can all live in that. It's like in principle we agree with it, but the reality of actually maintaining or having this happening, let's say yes, it can work, but there are times when these things fall over. Um, so that's where you could say the issues and problems arise when we can't work with somebody else. Now, Gregory, we haven't mentioned, I don't think we mentioned the word free will up till now. So, but it's a common topic of in our previous discussions, that the human beings have this ability of free will. So my question on that there is, Gregory, can, with this free will, Gregory, can we all fulfill and receive, live freely with our different desires? Or is there some sort of balancing that needs to take place? Because when you look at it, you say that is sort of nonsense to have everybody having their free will and doing whatever they want. So what is it that you could say bring happiness for everybody, and when we feel fulfilled, being able to be free as well, having the freedom and feeling and having happiness for all? How can that be possible with everybody having free will?
Again, thanks for questions of this nature. The error has always been the wrong interpretation of free will, where everyone is free to do whatever they like without consideration for others, whom, like them, are also journeying on similar paths. Free will can only be considered in relation with the laws of creation, the laws of nature, through which each personality came into existence. When free will is mentioned, and when people's wanderings are mentioned, first and foremost, the scenario must be very clear that one's thoughts, one's intuitions, one's movement here and there, all these are different classifications or categorizations of motion. Therefore, when one observes birth and death in nature, observes the season, observes the universe, everything, including one's thoughts, are in motion. So without a shadow of doubt, motion is ubiquitous, it's everywhere. Whatever name one cares to call it, motion is a law in creation which each element, each personality obeys. That being very straightforward and self-evident, one may then go further that there are only two kinds or two types of motion. That motion in which the end of the motion flows back to the beginning, and the other type, the end of the motion does not flow back to the beginning. These are the only two basic types. Any other must be reducible to these two basic types, with the case in which the first type in which the end flows back to the beginning, one may classify that or may categorize that as that of reciprocal activity, which therefore means all our motion, whether in thoughts, whether in intuition, whether in our gross material, flesh and blood, they all undergo this, in which the end of a motion of a type returns back to the beginning like a reciprocal activity, which can easily observable in the birth, the growth, and the death of all that we are able to perceive with our senses. We ourselves are no different. This applies to that which is in the world of matter or even outside the world of matter. From that in which, that motion in which the end flows back to the beginning, the sensing is very clear that it's as if there is an attraction. That is why the end flows back to the beginning. Were that not the case, it will not go back to the beginning. Therefore, it's very clear that one may then have a subcategory which one may refer to as the attraction of homogeneity. That is why the end flows back to the beginning. So from this motion, one can already perceive not only gross materially in flesh and blood in the world of matter, but also in our thoughts. And that's why you have all these rotations, all these cycles. That tells very clearly. It's not rocket science, it is real. And when one considers the other type in which the end does not flow back to the beginning, the impression becomes also very clear, in which that which is heavier sinks, that which is lighter floats. In that scenario, the end does not flow back to the beginning. And these have come about through motion. The question each personality must ask themselves: how does one stand in relation to these laws which have arisen out of motion? These laws which govern that which is perceptible with our gross material senses, basically, which refer to as the five senses. Or how do these laws govern our thoughts? How do these laws govern our intuition? How do these laws govern the power through which we are able to exist, albeit even here on a temporary basis in the world of matter here on earth? It is when one starts reflecting along such lines that in such an effort, which is also in motion, it's as if the human personality is seeking. And in real seeking, not only in deeds, not only in thoughts, but also in one's intuition, in that type of intensive seeking intuitively, one generates enough heat in which it's as if one is painting a picture in desiring or striving to know. And maybe it becomes very clear, he or she who seeks diligently will find. So, when free will is mentioned, free will must be understood in terms of these laws of motion, of these laws of creation, of these laws of nature, in which the human personality must first recognize that he or she is permitted to sow just like others. He or she would not wish to be disturbed, would not wish others to impose upon him or her such that he is unable to fulfill that which has been sown into it, which initially had been classified or categorized as talents, as virtues. They are free to make decisions on the path they wish to pursue, just like others. As long as the human personality strives in diligence and in courage to build up for himself or herself, just like others, they should do it in such a way that it brings benefit not only to them, but to their neighborhood, just like others. Therein lies law. That as you yourself weave, you should not weave threads in your deeds, threads in your thoughts, or threads in your intuition, such that these threads, following the laws of motion, because they are always in motion, they will have to return to the source. They will have to return to the beginning, such that the personality that initiated this will have to taste of that which he or she has woven into nature, into creation, whether he sees it or not. After all, none of us can see our thoughts, but it is a fact that we know we have thoughts, and our thoughts do have an impact even on our moods. So it is very clear. The free will must be considered only in terms of the laws of creation, of the laws of nature, through which we, as human personality, came into existence.
Thank you so much for your answer there, Gregory, and the explanation you're giving. About, you could say, how our free will functions in this world. That there are the laws of creation. There's this law of motion. And that is this framework that we are working in, whether we are aware or not. So, but if we observe nature or the world around us, we can see these things. Now, Gregory, like you said, we can't see our thoughts, or neither the other people can see our thoughts either. But we know that somehow they exist. So just and thinking about that, things that we can see and things that we cannot see. And sometimes they say seeing is believing, because otherwise it could be all theory. You can say one person can present this theory, another person can give another theory, and you can't really prove or really know if it's which way it is. So in a way, I want to ask now, let's say, things that are happening on the earth, we see people think, oh, this is injustice going on here. Somebody more powerful is able to, because of resources and weapons or whatever it is, overpower the weaker one with the less resources. And you're wondering, oh, is that really a justice there? It's just, oh, because then people just start saying, oh, we need to have money, because that's what brings, results and produces, you're able to do things. And then they sort of make that goal that they need to look for money or some sort of resources, let's say, to be able to get what they want. So how do we, Gregory, can we say that that something is a justice or not, that we can really say this is how this is actually happening, rather than I'm just going to use the word theoretical, that this is actually justice. So is there a way that we can see the justice taking place?
Again, thanks for this particular question. One has always been wondering, why is there no debate, fierce debate, to ask the real question that because we cannot see our thoughts do not exist. There has never been a debate along that direction. Yet, we can't ever hold our thoughts in our hands, but the perception is there that we think. Just as we cannot see our thoughts, and yet through activity we can see or we can perceive how our thoughts have an impact on our material activities, which material activities are perceptible using the five senses or instruments that enhance the perceptibility of the five senses. The thoughts are, and from that conclusion, we can avow that yes, we have thoughts. In the same fashion, we also have intuitions that we do not resonate with our thoughts when we, in our activities, in our gross material activities, our thoughts do not resonate with what we think and with what we do. It's very clear because there are times our thoughts are to deceive others who rely on the gross material deeds because that's what they're able to perceive. What lies behind it? The motive behind it, of the gross material deeds, they are unable to perceive. Just like the motive behind the thoughts, whether it resonates with the intuition or not, many are unable to perceive. But as is the normal case, that which is material or that which is earthly can be perceived with that which is earthly. That which is of thoughts, depending on the quality, can be perceived by that which is slightly ethereal. And that which is of intuition which is motion that has arisen from out of the inner core of man, which is of spirit, can also be perceived by that which is of intuition. Only a few are able to get to that extent of being able to perceive intuitively what lies behind all the gross material deeds that are perceptible. That being the case, it is now very clear what the way forward should be. Each personality must cultivate thoughts of pure nature and ensure that their thoughts are in harmony with their deeds. Each personality must ensure that deep within them, what lies behind, that is the motive, the intuitive motive, swings, resonates in accordance with the laws of creation. Which laws of creation means whoever receives of the streams that permeate creation, whoever receives of the streams must first make use of it and pass it on, that is, share with others. A very simple example. Have you ever heard of any person who is a musician who composes music and refuses to let people hear of it and go into their bedroom after the composition and hide it under their pillow? None. They, as artists, receive just like others. They have to share just like others. For only in sharing, in caring, does it lie one for all and all for one. Whenever that is not exhibited, therein lies the problems. Therein lies all these things which we call suffering. But at the same time, each person must strive to be awake, must strive to be vigilant, in diligence, to be able to perceive, so that one can live in peace with one's neighbors. Many a time, many think that you have to have guns and grenades and guided missiles. It is easy to win a war, for it is destruction. Destruction is easy. To win the peace, the human personality must be doubly watchful, must be watchful over himself, must be watchful over his neighbor. For harmony can only come when it is one for all and all for one. Wherever that does not exist, then that cycle in which the human personality is granted so much and holds it to himself, to the suffering of his neighbor, that is a violation. For having sown such bitter seeds, before too long, here on earth or hereafter, that which the human personality has sown in thoughts, in intuition, and in gross material deeds, in accordance with the living laws of creation, will have to return to it. This lies in motion. Hello, Mr. Farooq, you're on mute.
Yes. Oh dear. Can you hear me now? I don't know what happened there. Hello, Gregory.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, of course.
Okay. I don't know what happened. I was talking, and I'm not quite sure when I got cut off. But I'm back now, listeners. I was just saying that, um, just very briefly, that this is Bless Radio, and it's the Tuesday evening spiritual discussion program from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., where we introduce the spiritual knowledge in the light of truth, the Grail message, by Uprushing. And if you wish to know more about the Grail message or want to get a copy of the Grail message, you can go to this website, which is www.grailmessage.com. I'll spell that: www.grail, Grail, message, message.com. And the topic we are discussing on this show, or tonight's topic, is humanity and their issues and understanding of God. Humanity and their issues and understanding of God. And you can, if you have any questions or comments, you can contact us on our UK number, which is 07939641958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And if you're outside of UK, it is 00447939641958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And I've been giving another way to contact us, which is only when the show is live, which is on the Bless Radio website. So I just want to give the website first: Bless Radio 1, that's the number 1.com. And if you go to the bottom of the homepage, there's a box called Bless Chat. And in there, you can put your name and a message, and then we can see that message, and you can communicate to us through that channel as well. But that would have to be while the show is live, so that we can, well, it always has to be while we're having the show live, otherwise we wouldn't be able to answer the question as well. So, but just to say that that is a third channel called Bless Chat that you can contact us. And we are broadcasting on blessradio.1, as I've already said. We also are broadcasting on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and type in the search box, Bless Radio 1, that's the number 1, space, live stream. That's for the live show. You can also listen to the recording of this show the next day, also on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and type in the search box, Bless Radio 1, that's the number 1 again, space, Grail message, space, the topic of the show, which tonight is humanity and their issues and understanding of God. And of course, you can listen to our previous shows also on YouTube. Thirdly, you can listen to us on Zeno, that's ZENO.FM/Bless Radio 1. That's the number 1 again. So we've been exploring, Gregory, the laws of nature and how we can perceive them, because that was my last question, really, that how do we know this is reality? Because people could say, oh, this is theory, you know, and then, well, in a way we've said it before, but we have to use our gifts, the abilities that we carry, you know, and intuition is one of those gifts, but we have to, you know, it's just like anything, unless you use it, you're not going to find things out. So in a way, so the awareness that we have been talking about, uh, yes, you can have some, let's say, trial and error, but then you need some way of sensing. And one of this way of sensing is the intuition. And that you can find out reality through the intuition. The more you use it, the more you will sort of realize, oh yes, that's how it is. So this is really necessary, you can say, to come to know, who we are, the world, how it works, and so on. Um, Now, Gregory, I know I also mentioned about justice. Um, on the surface, you see something happening, and you're saying, "Oh, somebody stronger is beating up the weaker person," and what's going on underneath? What's really going on here? Does it just look like justice or not? As you say, with the perception, with the intuition, we can uh, examine these things and come to our proper conclusions of it. So another question I have, Gregory, in relation to all these things that people suffer, you can say, because suffering seems to be the way that awakens us somehow. So now, Gregory, you hear in the news natural disasters like earthquakes, volcanoes, hurricanes, and floods, landslides. Some of these, we might say, are not completely natural disasters. They could be human influence in it, because we know there's climate change, which we humans have certainly played a role in that. But let's try to say, well, let's see some natural disasters which are, let's say, unlikely to be with human, um, how can I say, through human intervention. So, and I'm thinking of earthquakes or volcano and even hurricane. So, Gregory, when such disasters are happening, uh, and human beings are being suffering in whatever way, it hits damage that has been caused by them. Um, would you, and because it's done by nature, Gregory, is there some natural justice going on when these type of events take place? Uh, what does it mean when we see such events?
Again, thanks for this particular question. Ever before man set foot on earth, these earths that we live in was gradually prepared, in which gradually first you had the elements, and then subsequently there was water, then came in the plants, then came in the animals, and all the while there was continuous development, readjusting and smoothing of the earth. These didn't just come about on their own. There are others that we ourselves are unable to perceive with our gross material eyes, who have been working on this. One may categorize these as the elementals. These are also beings whose area of activity is the preparation not only of the earth, the maintenance not only of the earth, but also of the moon, of the universe, the gross material universe, which we refer to as the world of matter. That is their area of activities. And they still continue to work within their areas of activities. ignorance is not an excuse. It will not justify anything. For these beings continue to walk unperturbed. It is the task of man to perceive of the workings of these. Of course, there are some nations that already recognize this. Go to to Iceland and ask them, and they will tell you. There are many others who have perceived of the workings of these nature beings, and therefore, when they are at work, in which they have to do some rearrangement, were we in harmony with them, maybe we could perceive of their workings and get out of their way. Because some of these changes have been in the workings for a very long time, that we ourselves are unable to perceive them, and they now carry out their activities. It is we who come to harm. So when the question is asked, is there justice in this? The real question should be, why are we unable to perceive of the workings of those who even prepared the earth, who maintained it, so that we are able to exist in it? Look at the wind pattern. These resonate within the laws, and there are beings that are responsible for these, that we are unaware or refuse to be aware is to our own detriment. We cannot now call them to account to us, who are supposed to be guests here on earth, and at the same time, we wish to impose on them just as we act in an arbitrary manner. Therefore, such questions don't hold water, because ever before the human personality set foot on earth, these workings, these beings have been there. And it is our task to perceive of these workings and not get on their path to distract them. Of course, there are the beings that are of giants. There are some that walk in the water, that walk in waters or in the seas. There are some that walk in the air. There are some of the fire. There are many different categories of beings, of nature beings that walk in this manner. It is our task to perceive of them and show gratitude, for they have been the loyal beings who have ensured there is maintenance and continuity on earth.
Thank you very much, Gregory, for your answer there again. Just want to say, one listener asked on the Blessed chat, which I've just introduced to the public, what is gross material? And I've actually replied to them just now. Gross material refers to the physical world, the world that we see with our five earthly senses. So just in case people have any questions, yes, you're welcome to ask them in whatever form you want to send it, to the WhatsApp, to our phone number, or through this Blessed chat that we've just introduced. So thank you for that. Now, Gregory, I'm just thinking, again, we haven't referred to it in this show today, but many of us who have people who have heard to our show in the past would know that there is something called reincarnation. In other words, we human beings have repeated Earth lives, so we carry over things we have done, made decisions and actions in our previous lives, and there are consequences of that, which happens. Maybe it happens in the current life that we are in, or it can happen later in a future Earth life. And of course, we would have had our previous lives, and things could come from our previous life, which manifest let's say the result and the consequence of that manifest in this current life. So there's issues from there that people might be worried about or thinking about. So Gregory, again, we say ignorance is not excuse, or ignorance isn't, yeah, I'll just say an excuse for not, you know, I'm going to say living aright. I don't know how the way to put it. So now, does that mean, Gregory, things we might have done in our previous life, and then there will be consequences because the consequences haven't hit us in that previous life. They might hit us in this life that we're in, or maybe another life later. Uh, how do we sort of deal with that? Because maybe we're going to get hit, um, in a very bad way. We don't know it's good or bad. It could be in either. But there are things we have done, Gregory, in our previous life, and which hasn't been, as I say, happened. The consequence hasn't happened in that life. It's now maybe going to happen this time. So how do we handle that? We could be having fear or being anxious. How should we act like in this type of situation?
As is, or as many may think, that past lives may not be considered. But in the discussion, it has been stressed that motion is a law, and this motion, which affects or have an impact on our gross material or earthly activities, it also has an impact on our thoughts and also has an impact on our intuition. If along the line the personality carries out an activity which has an impact on one's intuition, if that activity resonates in accordance with the living laws of nature, of creation, such activity will elevate it for, like the artist, he or she who has received has made use of it and has passed it on, and everyone has benefited. Not only fellow human personalities, but also others that one is unable to perceive with his five senses. There are many others. Because such activity is noble and resonates, it's as if he is drawn up for the source of that stream of power, draws him up because he's lighter. If, however, man's activities, gross materially, in thoughts or intuition, has a strong impact on one's intuitions, and this impact is ignoble, is not of benefit, in accordance with justice. Justice in the sense, the end that flows back to the beginning. He or she is permitted to taste of that which he or she has sown in creation, such that he or she may taste it here if it has matured enough to appear here, or may taste it hereafter if it has matured enough in out of the world of the earth. It will come to it. The question is that why is this so? As the human personality sows, he or she constructs his own immediate environment, his own immediate earthly environment, his own immediate thoughts environment, his own immediate intuitive environment. These are stamped onto it through its activities. Because they are stamped onto it, that which they have sown must return to it. If that which they have sown is noble, that means it resonates with the laws of creation and brings benefit in one for all and all for one, then he or she is drawn up. Otherwise, that which he or she has sown definitely will return to it in accordance with the creative laws, the living laws, so that it will taste of it. That tasting, when it returns, because it now needs to come back here on earth to experience it the way it is, that which he himself or herself has wished or willed for others. For it is justice, for only in such a way will the human personality realize that that activity it has engaged in is ignoble, it's not of benefit spiritually, and therefore it will change deep within. That change sometimes comes in what is referred to as recognition. The human personality can recognize things whilst it's here on earth. And that being the case, we start making adjustments. For here on earth, that which is noble and that which is ignoble coexist. You find it everywhere. However, once the physical body has been dropped, there is a separation. There's a separation between that which is noble and that which is ignoble. So you will find that many who have left the flesh still have to make remedy, have to make good that which they had initiated wrongly. But in that case, they will have to suffer terribly until they come to a recognition that that is of no benefit. And in change, there are many others who are open to perceive of those who have changed deep within and are prepared to help them. So the law is very simple and plain, that only through recognition is the human personality able to perceive that which is of benefit to it spiritually, or that which is not of benefit to it spiritually. So in that case, there is always justice. That which you have referred to as reincarnation, it means to incarnate again. You must have been here to come back. Again, that reincarnation, which is that cycle, that resonates within the laws of creation, in which, as if the end flows back to the beginning of an activity, and the human personality needs to be there, where that which he or she has sown will come back. But the possibility is there for the personality to recognize through his activities, whilst now on earth, that these things are of no benefit spiritually. Should they change their inner attitude and strive to give purity, which purity resonates with the laws of creation, with the laws of nature, then that purity will form like a cloud around them, such that when the former reciprocal activities come back, they will find a much brighter environment and are likely to slide off, or most likely to be of much less impact, which impact would have shattered the person in his physical body or in his thoughts. So it is always good to be good in accordance with one for all and all for one. For in reality, you never walk alone. There are some who have skills as musicians. There are some who have skills as scientists. There are some who have skills as farmers. One for all and all for one. The same thing happens with the virtues, the skills, the talents which have been sown in one. It is one for all and all for one. Only in such a manner will the human personality win peace. In fact, that is peace. Else, there will be war.
Thank you, Gregory, for your explanation again for this about reincarnation there. And really what you're showing is that the laws of creation, nature, just working continuously, this life, next life, all the time, really. So justice, as you say, is always happening. And it's really our job to recognize this, the working of creation, really, how it actually works. And the more you discover what the system is and how it works, the more you could say you'll appreciate this perfection of our Creator, God. So this is like what our, I don't know if you say mission, but our purpose also to we have a role to fulfill, and also to grow and develop and learn, and also through that we appreciate this world, and the work of the Creator. I just want to again remind the listeners, you're listening to Blessed Radio. It's a Tuesday evening spiritual discussion program on Tuesdays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. UK time. The aim of the show is is to introduce you to the spiritual knowledge in the light of truth, the Grail message by Abdushin. And if you wish to know more about the Grail message or want to get a copy of the Grail message for yourself, then you can go to this website, which is www.grailmessage.com. I'll spell that, www.grail, Grail, message, message.com. And the topic we're discussing tonight is humanity and their issues and understanding of God. If you have any questions or comments on this topic, you can contact us on, they are now a new way as well, that you can, the way you say, firstly, you can contact us on our, through the UK mobile number, which is 07939 641 958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And if you're outside of UK, it is 0044 7939 641 958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And the other method is you go to the website blessradio1, that's the number 1.com, and at the bottom of the home page you will see a box called Bless Chat, and in there you can write your name and your message, and then we can respond to you directly. So of course, that's when we're doing the show live. Well, the same applies to the mobile number. You need to do that live when the show is taking place. And we are broadcasting on, as I already mentioned, blessradio1.com also, and that's the number 1. We are also broadcasting on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and type in the search box, Bless Radio 1, again the number 1, space live stream. That's for the live show. You can then also listen to the recording of the show the next day, also on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and type in the search box, Bless Radio 1, again the number 1, space Grail message, space the topic of the show, which tonight is humanity and their issues and understanding of God. And of course, you can listen to our previous shows also on YouTube. Thirdly, we're broadcasting on Zeno. That's ZENO.FM / Bless Radio 1. Now, Gregory, I have had someone who contributes to the show with questions, put some questions forward for this topic tonight, which is, as I say, humanity and their issues and the understanding of God. Now, this question, we may have addressed it already, but Gregory, act as if you haven't said anything about it yet. So the question is, why is it that one neighbor's house is full of joy a child brings into a home, and none are granted to others? So if I get this question correctly, it looks like one neighbor is full of joy because their child has come into their home, and another where no such joy comes because they don't get a child granted to them. So why is that so, Gregory?
Actually, what you yourself read out is still not clear to me what they mean by that.
Okay, what do they mean? Well, I'm not the person who asked the question, but from my understanding of this question, some people, let's say, having a child is like, I don't know, it's the supreme happiness for some people, or many people. And so let's say one family seem to have this uh, blessing of receiving a child into their family, and another one, um, it is not, they have not been so blessed. So the question then is, why is that so? Why is, now,
Well, again, thanks for this type of question. What?
sorry, Gregory, just in my own head, because I'm also trying to understand the question. What I'm not clear in this question, and I probably the same applies to you, is uh, the assumption is, I believe, Gregory, is that the child brings happiness into into this family. Just assumption. That is an assumption. Call it a general assumption. And if somebody doesn't receive a child, it seems that that's not a blessing. So I think that is the question being asked.
In that case, anyone can easily ascertain that to be able to receive something, there is the need to prepare for it. There are cases in which the personalities involved who lack children have or had, through their past activities, did not put enough effort to be able to receive children. There are also scenarios in which the need to have children is not there because of the sort of activities which the couple or those around them need to go through. Each case is different. So, whether one has children or not, are there not personalities there that are in young bodies that could be adopted to also bring peace and happiness within the home? It must be only through your own physical body that you should have your own child before you are able to feel happy? Is one for all and all for one not there? So the human personality must broaden their perception and see that the blessings in nature are everywhere. The possibility could also be there that having had this particular child, you yourself do not have enough time to pay attention to caring for the child. And therefore you burden yourself so much due to lack of care. But if subsequently the personality, in realizing that, makes the effort to be of service, to be of help to his or her neighbor, be it a child or an adult, then the blessings are not less on that account, but are even more.
Thanks very much, Gregory, for your answer there. I just, you already had said earlier in the show that, the laws of nature, they always work in justice, or they always produce justice. So if somehow, let's say it's, we all are on a journey, every human being is on a journey of discovery and growing and developing. So it's like to come to a realization, that's we are working to have this realization, oh, this experience we're going through, some people may say, oh, it's a suffering. Other people, oh, it's a joy. But each experience really is a benefit, even if it on the surface looks like a suffering. There's something to be gained. Everything is an opportunity to grow. So if somehow if you can look at these life events with this sort of, I know we're not trying to supposed to give advice, but if you can see it with these eyes, and examine, whatever experience people are going through, you are going through, and see it like that, and then or let's say put that as just try that and see what it looks like, and then and maybe that will be, you could say, the fruit of what something will open up for you in this way. Every person will go through their own, whatever they're going through, but this could sort of open the way to see something in a different way than before. You might perceive it, oh, this is suffering, and actually, oh, maybe it's actually a blessing, that you see something beautiful in it. One experienced person, for one person is their way, their experience. Another person is a different way. So it's not like we all have to follow one formula, that this is only a set way for everybody, that is to have happiness. So yeah, this is just my little input into this point. Gregory, we started a bit late today, 10 minutes late, and I think this topic has a lot of things we can talk about, to continue to talk about. So I would like to continue again, probably another 10 minutes into the, after 8, so we can finish a bit late today. I want to now move on to Gregory about the understanding of God, because we're talking about our life situations. So let's look at that now. Now, let's look at some common, actually, let me connect it with the other question that the listener has put, this contributor has put. Actually, it is, in a way, we can look at this. So Gregory, another question that person has put is about prayers. It says, when a person prays, there are some prayers which are left unanswered, and we're talking about prayers to God. So, and people may be wondering, oh, God is somebody who's perfect and all-powerful, and yet, when we pray, and we have been told to pray, but then some of our prayers are not being answered. So again, a question arises, why is that?
Again, the question arises, your prayers are not being answered. Then the question should be, what was the motive behind the prayer? Was the motive, the thought motive, the intuitive motive, if at all there was any intuition attached in that process of praying? Therefore, you will find that there is much ado about nothing. It was only a recital of demands, which demands sometimes are not consistent with themselves. And such, which many may call prayers, does not come from their inner call. Only very rarely will they, in their devotion, open up intuitively. For the one who needs to be able to have his or her prayer heard, that person must ensure that purity accompanies the prayer, such that that request will rise upwards. The question each must ask themselves, has that been the case always? If that has not been the case, then the answer is very clear. Wrong. So, and it's not what every person prays for and they say they are pure. Sometimes people ask for that which is poisonous for them, which is not beneficial, which is detrimental to them, but they want it. And no sooner would they have the opportunity, they will turn around and do something else. So when people say we have been praying, they have only been reciting paragraphs and making demand. One must ask, before the human personality came into existence, that power was always there that permitted the human personality to come into existence. And in the strivings, in the longing, the human personality was granted the opportunity to experience. And worlds were made available to it in order to grow from unconsciousness as a spirit germ and subsequently to become conscious and finally to become self-conscious. These took millions and millions of years. It was with that power, it was with the will, it was with the love that permitted this should happen. And therefore, within the will of the Almighty, all has been made available to the human personality to experience so as to grow and become self-conscious spiritually. Now you ask yourself, the human personality within a moment now makes demand on the will, on the love, on the power that permitted it even to become a being in creation, now wanting to use his own free will to go counter and then start asking demandingly, why has my prayer not been answered? Well, the answer is clear. So it is not every babbling of words that is prayer, but that which touches the inner core and it's pure, that is prayer, true activities. That is prayer, a prayer of gratitude, of being permitted even to exist. For all that it needs, the table is laid. It only needs to take that which it needs to enable it to rise, not that which in an arbitrary manner it wishes to have.
Thank you for this answer there, Gregory. Now, Another thing about understanding God I want to bring up now is some people think, or many people think, oh, God is everywhere, you know, in us, in the nature, in the landscape, you know, everywhere, because his power goes through everywhere. So is that really correct? Uh, and if not, how is it?
You yourself says his power. There is a difference between that which radiates from the source. He said his power. It is his power that activates. It is the power that animates the human personality, but not he himself. Of course, there's a difference between the power which percolates in creation, in nature, and even here on earth, and the source. Simple example, every day we see the sun. The sun, one may refer to, is the source of the radiations, which radiation touches the earth and enables the plants to grow. The sun is not on the earth. It is the radiations that get to the earth and keep things growing. So there must be clarity, difference between the source of power and the power itself.
Thank you for that answer there, Gregory. Let me see. Can I fit another question before we come to the end of the show? Let me. Can yeah, you know. Okay, it's too much a question to ask right now. I'm thinking, but let me just think of something I can ask you. How can we connect with God, Gregory? Yes, yeah. How can we connect with Him?
Very simple. Through our activities, in deeds, which resonates with the laws of nature, in our thoughts, which should resonate with the laws of nature or of creation, and through our intuition, which must also resonate within the laws of creation. For man is of spirit, and any meaningful communication must be from the spirit, because it is the spirit that is able to make contact with the power as such that rests in creation.
Thank you for that, Gregory. Dear listeners, we come to the end of the show tonight on the topic of humanity and their issues and understanding of God. Hope you've enjoyed the discussion tonight, and I want to end with a reading, as I like to do, from the Grail message, which is from the foreword of the Grail message, titled "For Your Guidance." the bandage falls, and belief becomes conviction. Liberation and redemption lie only in conviction. I am addressing earnest seekers only. They must be able and willing to examine this matter objectively. Religious fanatics and irresponsible enthusiasts may hold aloof, for they are detrimental to the truth. As for the malevolent and prejudiced, they shall find their sentence in the very words. The message will strike only those who still carry within them a spark of truth and the yearning to be true human beings. To all such it will become the shining light and staff. It will lead them unswervingly out of all the chaos of the present-day confusion. The following word does not bring a new religion, but is intended as the torch to help all serious listeners or readers find the right path, which leads them to the longed-for height. Only he who bestirs himself can advance spiritually. The fool who uses extraneous aids for this, in the form of ready-made opinions of others, only walks his path as if on crutches, while ignoring his own healthy limbs. But the moment he boldly uses all the abilities which lie dormant within him, awaiting his call to help in his ascent, he is employing the talent entrusted to him in accordance with his Creator's will, and will easily overcome all obstacles that seek to divert him. Therefore awake. Genuine faith lies only in conviction, and conviction comes solely through an inflexible weighing and examining. See that you are truly alive in the wonderful creation of your God, Abrushin. And dear listeners, if you want to get more information on the Grail message, or want to get a copy of the Grail message, you can go to this website, which is www.grailmessage.com. I'll just spell that, www.grail, Grail, message, message.com. Gregory, is there anything you'd like to say to the listeners to say goodbye?
Wishing all listeners a very beautiful week.
Thank you. Same from me, listeners. Have a great week, beautiful week. We'll be back as usual next Tuesday from 6 p.m. To 8 p.m. UK time with another topic. Take care.